Friday the 3rd of March and welcome to Afternoon Sport. You're with me, Catherine Alcorn, and I am of course joined by my co-host Shane Lee. Hello, legend.
Kath, how are we? It's Friday and the exciting on for the weekend.
Woo, yes, actually. My partner and I are heading down to Hickson House tonight. We're going on a gin distillery tour.
Wow. So
I know.
So it could end in tears, the date.
I've actually got one of my best girlfriends. She cannot drink gin. She says, if I have one glass, I'm in a flood of tears. That is not my situation. Just like bourbon, you could put me on a drip and I am sweet, my friend. So I'm really looking forward to that, actually. We're going to be taken on a tour of Hickson House and then we're going to have a spot of dinner afterwards. So that's something to look forward to.
Lovely. Great way to start the weekend.
Yes, we'll see how tomorrow pans out, but it's a good way to start our Friday. Well, today on the show, we'll be talking cricket, Australia's best paid female athletes. Woo! AFL as the pre-season games begin, NRL, boxing and more. Stay with us.
Afternoon Sport.
All right, well, we're going to kick off with the cricket today. India versus Australia, the third test, day 2 from indoor. Australia is only chasing 76 runs, Shano, to win. But the way India is going, this will be a mountain to climb. This is Australia's Everest.
Yeah, look, it's our best chance. We've had 2 really good days of cricket. India winning the toss. We bowled them out for 109 first innings and then 163 in the second innings. Nathan Lyon on fire, taking 8 for 64 off 23 overs.
Incredible.
To go with his 3 for 35 in the first innings. Amazing effort from him. And, we only need 75 runs to win this test. I dare say that will be the hardest 75 runs that we will probably ever chase. But
Nails will be bitten all around the country today.
Like, it'd be a horrible loss if we get bowled out for less than 75. So you have to say Aussie's a favourite. But we'll wait and see. Probably get them 8 down, I'd say.
Well, still in India now, where the umpires are copping it too. The DRS's diabolical decision after the umpire's brutal snubbing of Aussie bowlers is stunning cricket fans all over the world. Yeah,
it was a real strange one, this one. It was Cam Green, and it was clearly not going to hit the stumps. But for whatever reason, the review, the DRS said it was. And, a lot of people were quite confused. I think we've got to be careful with technology. When it works well, it's great. But sometimes we've got to use some common sense, and that clearly was not going to hit the stumps. So, but the rules are the rules, I suppose.
It's a tough one. The Aussie battling, the little Aussie battler, the Aussie batting prodigy Will Pucovski locks in a comeback game.
Yeah, it's a real tough one for this kid. He's now 25. He sort of burst on the scene when he was like 18 and 19, a real batting prodigy. And he's had a number of concussions, like real bad concussions. And he's also taken mental health breaks a number of times. From all reports, he's in pretty good spirit. His form's good. He's now been picked in the second 11 side. But look, this kid's already played 1 test and did pretty well when he played. But for whatever reason, he just can't string enough good games together without either getting hit in the head or, actually having some problems mentally. So I wish him all the best because he's a really, really good kid and he's hanging around and maybe 25 now. He's a bit older, a bit wiser. Maybe things might be better for him.
Well, moving on to the ladies now. This is the best story that I'm going to read this week. How good's this? The Australia's best paid female athletes revealed. Minjee Lee, Ash Barty, top of the list. How good is this? And what took so long?
It's amazing, isn't it? If you look at particularly the female cricketers, from where they've come from only in a few years where they were pretty much getting paid nothing. They were taking leave from work and doing it for the love. Alyssa Healy's earning between $475 and $550 now, which is really good money. Young tennis player Astra Sharma, she's on $550. Ash Gardner, the cricketer, she's making close to $1 million now.
So she should be.
Yeah,
so she should be.
Yeah, well done to her. Sam Kerr, our footballer, she's on $1.75 million. Ash Barty made $7.5 last year. Why she
that baby's going to have a couple of cute outfits, I reckon.
Well, I'll tell you what, why she hung the boots up, good on her. But and then you got the golfer Minjee Lee, who's making $10.5 million last year. Big numbers. So go girls.
Absolutely. And a lot of that also comes from endorsements as well. Is that right?
That's right. Yes. Yeah. It's a combination, particularly with the tennis players. The majority of the Ash Barty and Minjee Lee's would come from prize money.
So can I also just ask, now that this list has been revealed, is this showing that the interest in female sport by viewers is really, it's ramping up as well? Because that's obviously reflective of the viewership, then the sponsorship, investors, stakeholders, all of that sort of stuff?
Yeah, but big time. Particularly, look, it's always been quite strong in tennis and golf. They've always been close on parity with pay, not all over the but in the ATP, the main events it is.
But cricket and surfing, those girls are really getting up there now.
They are, like, to earn over $500,000 for something you love. It's a nice earn, and good on them for and they'll be able to earn them more money after they finish as well, because they've got profile by playing on TV, and they'll be able to make a good career of it, commentating or whatever they decide to do.
Oh, just like you. Look at this.
Yeah.
We're filming from home today. Not only did I need to get up and shower, I had to clean the bloody house. You've got your lovely pool out the back there. All right, well, we're going to move into to head trauma in sport, and former Collingwood AFLW player Emma Grant has lodged a court claim against the Magpies over the concussion and the lack of care.
Yeah, well, this is always going to happen, wasn't it? And she believes that the Magpies, when she was vice captain of the Collingwood AFLW team, that the way she was handled after a severe concussion was inappropriate and wasn't done properly, and that led to her career ending a lot earlier than she wanted to. And she basically said there was no duty of care there. So the first sort of case of this that we're about to see, and I dare say there'll probably be many to follow.
And ahead of a class action that's going to be brought against the AFL as well. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes. Well, stay with us, because we'll be talking AFL, NRL, boxing and more.
Afternoon sport.
And over to the AFL now. Collingwood has narrowly ousted Hawthorn by 6 points.
Well, Collingwood, remember last year, they were winning games by 1 or 2 points quite often. So they've got a knack of winning these close games. They're doing it again. This is obviously just a pre-season game, but they beat the Hawks by 6 points. Young Patrick Lipinski has dislocated his shoulder again, poor kid. So that's the same.
And he
one
already had it taped during the game as well.
Yeah, so that's not a good sign. That keeps dislocating and popping out. It's not great for his future. But they look pretty good, Collingwood. Jordan De Goey, he's had all these problems on and off the field, but he was fantastic. 31 disposals. Looks like he looks very fit, and he's going to be great in the midfield there for Collingwood this year.
Carlton's salary cap squeeze is at an all-time high as we head into the 2023 season. And will De Koning be poached?
Well, potentially, but they don't seem to have any room at all, because what Carlton have been doing over the last sort of 10, 15 years is rebuilding. So they keep re-signing the same bunch of guys. But after signing Harry McKay, Charlie Curnow, Patrick Cripps and Sam Walsh, the big four there ain't much bucks left. So it's pretty hard to rebuild.
So the squeeze is on, the big squeeze.
The squeeze is on, and maybe they'll find some money somewhere. But those boys would take the majority of the salary cap.
Well, Sydney Stars Callum Mills and Tom Papley will miss the Swans' final practice game against Carlton on tonight. Your dear old Swannies, Shano, what's going to happen?
Look,
the big sigh.
I've got a funny feeling with my Dragons, St George Dragons, and my Swans this year. I'm going to kick a few TVs in, I reckon. The Swans did so well last year, and but already, so Callum Mills and Tom Papley will miss the final practice game. They'll be fine for round one, but we're already 3 players from the grand final last year are already ruled out for round one. That's Tom Hickey, Robbie Fox, and Ryan Clark. So they've got a variety of injuries, but so already ruled out for round one, which is not great. And Buddy's not fit. Come on, Swans.
Over to the NRL now, and plenty of action in the Storm versus Eels game.
Yeah, it was a good game of footy last night. A lot of people were tipping Parramatta to win this one, but Melbourne got the job done again. They won 16-12. The big news coming out that Munster, their star player for the Storm, he'd suffered with a compound dislocation of his finger.
Yeah,
he went off and came back on and played.
He went back on. He was getting it. Well, they said, he's got to be on the field if they want to take it.
Yeah, exactly right. And he's a tough boy to do that, because that'd be a lot of pain. But surely that won't keep him out too much of the season.
And Penrith coach Ivan Cleary says predictions are worthless as the 2023 season begins, but he's still got his eye on the win.
Yeah, well, obviously, they're going for the three-peat, 3 in a row, the Panthers, and a lot of talk about they've lost a lot of players over the pre-season. They won't be as good. And he just said, look, all this chat's worthless. And so he's just pumping these guys up. They've got a very, very good bunch of young kids coming through the Panthers. So will they win 3 in a row? I don't know, but they'll definitely be in the top 4.
Got to keep it positive. All right, over to boxing now. And Tim Tszyu is confident that he will get the big KO of Tony Harris.
Yeah, it's funny. Like Tim Tszyu, you can see his promoters, the guys over there, are trying to get him to say a lot of stuff. I don't think it's in his nature. He's not a bit. I think he's a bit of a quiet achiever. So he's coming out saying all these big things. Well, he said he's confident he's going to knock his opponent out, Tony Harrison, in the first couple of rounds. So
will he do it?
Okay, mate. Well, let's see it.
Great.
So he's talking it up, and but he's not a huge puncher. He's the sort of guy that wears them down. But anyway, he's talking the talk. Let's see if he can walk the walk March 11.
Absolutely. And this is hilarious. Jake Paul's $360,000 tattoo vanishes during the fight with Tommy Fury. Where's the ink? Like one hit and the tap falls off? What's happened?
Yeah, so there's a bottle of vodka on his arm, and then they realised when they were actually fighting it wasn't there. So maybe he's not as stupid. He's a great promoter, this guy. He can do it, and he's obviously hasn't. It must have been fake ink. I don't know. Or he drank the bottle off his arm. I don't know. One or two.
And then after the match, he hit his Instagram and he lost the match, by the way. He lost the fight. But then he was on Instagram fake crying and saying, oh, even though you lost, I still made $30 million. So he always looks on the bright side of life, does Jake Paul?
He does.
And Shano, that is it for Afternoon Sport today. We've ran through it. Make sure you guys hit follow or subscribe wherever you listen. And a big thank you to our sponsors.
Yeah, if you're having a punt on the weekend, sign up to the Elite app. Fantastic bunch of guys there. You can have a bet on all the races, all the sport over the weekend. Of course, gamble responsibly.
And of course, thank you to our producer, Dan McHugh. We'll be back on Monday with your daily dose of sport. Have a great weekend, Shano.
Yeah, you too. Take care, guys. Bye.